Guilds in old school RuneScape define certain skills to what they are today. We have the Farming Guild, which offers a new task system and its very own boss. We have the Woodcutting Guild, which gives access to the sawmill and every type of tree. We have the Fishing Guild, the Crafting Guild, the Mining Guild, Cooking Guild, all with their own unique gameplay style. And with the release of Varlamore Part 1, old school RuneScape players will have access to the newest guild in the game, which is the Hunter's Guild, and that is going to completely change Hunter from the boring grind it currently is to an interactive experience for all players. No longer you have to do hundreds of birdhouse runs just to keep your Hunter level up. This update will change Hunter forever. So today I want to showcase all of the information we currently have available to us about the Hunter's Guild and what can we expect to see on March 20th when Varlamore Part 1 is released. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Firstly, to even access the Hunter's Guild, you need 46 Hunter. And even though it's not required, it's also highly recommended to have the Eagle's Peak quest completed to get access to Chinchompas, as they are likely going to be one of the tasks you can obtain from the Hunter's Guild. And also unlocking this quest will give you free transport system to Varlamore, which we will talk about later on. Along with that, we will see tons of new creatures show up with this update all across Varlamore. So let's talk about what these new creatures offer, and then let's dive into the new task system in Hunter's Guild, which will resemble something like the contract system in Farming Guild, but with a few exciting changes to make it more interactive. So firstly, let's talk about the creatures. In total, we will see at least 10 new Hunter creatures added into the game, and all of them will have their own unique perspective on the game. Some will give you the best food, healing you up to 26 hit points. Some will allow you to transport across Varlamore, and some will be used to make new armor and weapons. The first creature I want to talk about is the capybaras. Look how cute they are. Oh my god, my black frozen heart is melting. Well, yeah, that's all there is to it. The second creature I want to talk about are the Quetzal, who are going to be used as the transport system all across Varlamore. Think of this like the gnome glider system, which allows you to access different points on the map, but this time it's birds and it's only available in Varlamore. If you have the sufficient hunter and construction levels, you can even build more travel points yourself down the line. The point is that Varlamore for the most part is very secluded, so I imagine you want to unlock these birds as soon as you land on the island. To access the travel system, you will need a whistle, which requires you to complete 5 hunter tasks. And we'll get into that later on how to complete these tasks. Once you complete the 5 tasks, you will get the blueprints for the whistle, and that unlocks the Quetzal transportation system. The whistle will have certain amount of charges for teleporting around, and there is a way to upgrade it by feeding the Quetzal at the top of the Hunter's Guild more meat. You can also obtain Quetzal as a pet from the hunter tasks, and players who have completed the Eagle's Peak quest will have access to the Eagle transportation system along with this one as well. Next up, I want to talk about the 7 new creatures you can catch for multiple of different benefits around the game, and let's start with the 2 moths. We have the Sunlight moth at 65 Hunter and the Moonlight moth at 75 Hunter. They can be accessed in the avium savanna and require butterfly net and jar to capture. The moths have very unique benefits in that they have AoE healing and prayer restore effects. If you catch it and open up the jar, it will restore health and prayer in a 3x3 area around you for up to 4 players in total, including yourself. So for example, the Sunlight moth restores 6 plus 20% reduced stats as well as 8 hit points. Let's say you're doing 4-man Tombs of a Masked raids. Your team just used 2 doses of Saradomin Brew and had their stats lowered. This could remove that effect immediately and also heal 4 players at the same time. The more beneficial one for me is the Moonlight moth, which restores prayer in a 3x3 area for up to 4 players. It works basically like 1 prayer dose for each player, but everyone will gain the benefit if 1 player releases the moth. Furthermore, this can also be made into 2 dose potions, and it will have the same effect, just like in Barbarian Training. These 2 creatures will definitely open up new opportunities for players to last longer in extended teamfights against bosses. Or maybe you just want to teach your friend to raid and you can help them restore stats and prayer without them clogging up their own inventories. Keep in mind that these do not work on Ironman, which means you can't abuse this and just stand by with your main account and infinitely heal your Ironman account forever. Next creature we have is the Deku Salamander, which will be the best salamander in the game and requires 79 Hunter to catch. Once again, it can be found in the Savannah and it requires 80 attack, magic and range to equip. But before you can equip the salamander, you firstly need to take it to an NPC in the Hunter Guild, who will then train it up for you to use it, and if you die with the salamander, you have to do the process all over again. The salamander requires Irit Tar, which is combining swamp tar with the Irit leaves, and that creates 15 Irit Tar. which is the ammunition for Tekka salamanders. And just like every other salamander, it has 3 attack styles: magic, ranged and melee, which makes it firstly a very good PKing weapon as your opponent can't predict which style you're using, and secondly it's useful in a few of the bosses around the game, like Barrows, entry-level raids, maybe Taganok Kings, Grotesque Guardians, and even the newest minigame Perilous Moons. Basically bosses that require multiple combat styles to fight. It probably won't be the best weapon in any of these bosses, but considering it will be a tier 80 salamander, it's very useful to learn the mechanics of the bosses and get your first KCs. Before we move on to my favorite item that's gonna be released with this update, consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more Varlamore content coming out very soon. Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have the 2 antelopes, which will be used as a direct upgrade to the hunter's crossbow. Currently the hunter's crossbow is mostly used in PKing, but the reason it's not seen that often is because making the specific bolts, aka Gebit bolts, for the crossbow is very tedious process, especially for Ironman. With the antelopes and the Hunter Guild, this process will be made much easier, and the hunter's crossbow will also receive a significant buff, which will bring it up to the same level with the rune crossbow. Firstly, the Sunlight Antelope, which requires 72 hunter, will give you 2 drops: Sunlight Horns, which can be attached to the hunter's crossbow for the upgrade, and Sunlight Meat, which is gonna be used to upgrade your food for the best in slot healing power. And we'll talk about that later on in the video. The second creature is Moonlight Antelope, which requires 91 hunter, and is also the highest creature that comes with this update. It will give you access to the upgraded bolts that can be shot with the upgraded hunter's crossbow, and this will make the weapon something that a lot of people will want to use. The reason the upgraded Sunlight Hunter's crossbow is so good is because of the 3 attack cycles on the rapid style. For comparison, Rune crossbow has 5 attack cycles, which is 1.2 seconds slower per attack. So you have upgrade to the hunter's crossbow and upgrade to the bolts it fires as well. To add on top of that, currently you can only make 6 bolts per 1 item, and with this update you can double that, meaning 12 bolts per 1 Moonlight Horns. So look out for this weapon that comes with the 2 new creatures, and maybe even take advantage of the new moneymaker through the bolts. And finally we have 2 more creatures which are mainly caught for the new ranged weapon, the Hunter Spear. These creatures are a Jerboa, which requires 39 hunter, and Pyre Fox, which requires 51 hunter. The Jerboas drop their tails after catching them, which is used to make the Hunter Spear. The Hunter Spear has a very unique effect in that even though it's a ranged weapon, it uses your melee strength bonus to determine the amount of damage you deal. So essentially it's a melee throwing weapon. And this goes along with the second creature, the Pyre Fox, which drops the tanning hides to make the mixed armor. And this armor has the same idea. It's a ranged armor that also gives you strength bonus. So combining the armor and the weapon together gives you a nice mid-level armor that has a very unique style. And that's pretty much it with the new creatures. But all of these items should be mostly obtained through the new Hunter task system, which is going to be called Rumors. The way to access the Hunter Rumors is the underground pub in the guild. And in that pub there are tons of NPCs who assign specific creatures as your task. But it's much more than just catching few hundred salamanders as your task. In fact, when you get assigned a task which is in 4 different tiers, you will have a chance to obtain a rare creature part, and once you obtain the part, then the task is completed. You can bring in the creature part back to the hunter NPC who assigned you the task, and all of the NPCs will in return give you bonus hunter experience and loot sack, which contains tons of rewards, from best in slot foods, hunter skilling outfits, blueprints, and even the newest hunter pet. As mentioned before, there are 4 tiers, and different NPCs will assign different tiers of monsters to hunt. The start of the Rumors is a little bit like temple trekking minigame, where you have easy, medium and hard options to choose from, and depending on which choice you make, the rewards and experience will also be better. And just like farming contracts, let's say you get assigned tier 4 Rumors, which requires 91 hunter, but you don't want to do that. Well, then you have the option to lower it to tier 3, which is gonna be an easier task. You can also just talk to another NPC who will have a different task for you, but keep in mind that despite there being multiple NPCs who assign contracts, you can only take 1 rumor at a time. On average, 1 task will take you about 10 minutes to complete, and faster players can even complete up to 7 or 8 tasks per hour, depending on the RNG of getting the rare creature parts. Despite the tier 4 rumor being 91 hunter, it is expected that you can boost for it with the hunter potion, which gives you a +3 boost. Now let's talk about the rewards you also get with this. Firstly, unlike all the other skilling outfits, which gives you a flat out 2.5% experience boost, the Hunter skilling outfit will give you slightly different boosts. If you have the full outfit equipped, you will gain 2.5% catch rate boost and 5% increased chance to obtain the rare creature parts while doing Hunter tasks. This should be on average a little bit more than just 2.5% experience boost, but it's still fairly mid, so it doesn't affect your training that much. The other main reason to do Hunter Rumors is very simple. The loot stack you obtain after completing the task is one of the best food items in the game. Jagex is introducing new foods into the main game, which will restore your health over time rather than doing it instantly. The idea of this new type of foods is that they heal more over time, but they heal less on the spot. So for example, a shark heals 20 hit points. A new comparison for that would be the dashing cabbit meat, which heals you for 13 hit points immediately, and then over the course of a few seconds heals you another 11 hit points, which brings the total to 24 hit points. So yes, it gives 4 more hit points back than a shark, but you have to wait the extra time for the extra healing to kick in. There are going to be total of 9 new meats added into the game, varying from very low ones like wild cabbit, which heals total of 8 hit points, up to Moonlight antelope meat, which heals total of 26 over time. The 2 last ones also have a special effect. Like mentioned before, the dashing cabbit meat heals total of 24 and also restores 10 run energy. And the Moonlight antelope meat, which is going to be the best food option in the game, is going to heal 26 total and also cure 1 poison damage. However, there is a catch to these new foods. If you want to obtain them yourself or make money off these new foods, you have to complete certain amount of Hunter Rumors to unlock the recipes for these new foods. It's 25 rumors for mid-level meats and it's 50 rumors for the 2 high tier meats. And that's probably how the Hunter Rumors are going to be really profitable, because after completing your task, you will receive a loot sack, which after opening up will contain tons of these new meats, and you can sell them in GE for profit, or if you're an Ironman, it's an excellent food choice to take for Slayer tasks or certain bosses that don't require instant healing. Keep in mind that if you want to obtain the best meat for yourself, you will need to have a 91 Hunter to even catch Moonlight antelopes. But I guarantee you this will become very profitable, because 26 hit points heal over time is pretty damn good. So from now on, when you go hunting for any of these creatures, make sure to pick up their meat, because it will become much more valuable. And to compensate for the fact that from now on your inventory will fill up much faster with meats, bones, furs, and your hunting tools, Jagex is also introducing 3 extra items that you can take with you on your hunter tasks, and those are meat sacks, trap storage, and hunter pouches. The meat sack will store up to 28 raw meat in your sack. The hunter pouches will store up to 28 of any furs in your pouch. And finally, the trap storage works kinda like the Lunar Spell Hunter Kit. It allows you to store all of your hunter tools in a single inventory space, so you don't have to fill out your entire inventory with different tools. All 3 items will allow you to do extended hunting trips, and you don't have to worry about banking every few minutes. And finally, Jagex is also looking to balance some older content and bring them up to date. And this mostly has to do with the older hunter outfits, which now have a purpose. And that purpose is to give you reduced damage against only hunter creatures. So let's say you equip full Gaiat outfit. This will now give you 60% damage reduction against hunter creatures, helping once again prolong your hunter trips. And that is the entire hunter update in one video. If you want to see more Varlamore content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all tomorrow with another video. I love you all very much. Bye.